Welcome back to the Kelly Parker YouTube channel where we create tech champions. This is part 3 of the Fedora installation chronicles on Hyper-V, where I will be going from Fedora 1 all the way to Fedora 40, showing you one video each OS here on this channel. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy what you see today. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. Here we are on Hyper-V. I've already got all my ISOs downloaded, all my folders created, so let's go ahead and start by creating a VM. New virtual machine, Fedora 3, store the virtual machine in a different location. We're gonna put it on my D drive, Fedora 1 to 40. We'll select the Fedora 3 disk folder. We're gonna go ahead and use generation 1. Startup memory, just 2048 megabytes or 2 gigabytes should be sufficient. We're gonna use the default switch. And our Fedora 3 virtual disk is already in its appropriate folder. We'll just give it 40 gigabytes. We don't need that much space. Select the appropriate ISO. And just like for the previous video, we are using the Fedora 3 64-bit x86 ISO. And we are creating the VM now. Let's go ahead and start it up. And I'm hoping the process is just as smooth as it was for Fedora 1, but we shall see what happens. So we don't have anything right now, so we may need to reset this. There we go. A quick little reset is all that needed. And it's loading on up just fine. And we have CD found. All right. To begin testing the CD media before installation, press OK. I don't think we will need to do that, so let's go ahead and skip. And it is doing its thing. You may safely reboot your system. Do we need to go ahead and actually do that? Let's give it a shot. All right, let's go ahead and install. Let's try in graphical by pushing the enter key. Random screens, go to skip. You may safely reboot your system. Well, okay, I guess we will go ahead and reboot. Another error there again. This time we will type Linux text for text mode. That seems to be the mode in which I'm most successful in installing Fedora. So let's do text installation. And I thought we were gonna have an option to skip. Yes, there it is. And we have you may safely reboot your system again. So install exited abnormally yet again. So I guess we're gonna have to grab the i386 ISO and continue with installation with that. So let's go ahead and head over to Fedora's website and download that ISO. Okay, Fedora ISO, Fedora Workstation Project. We just want an ISO, Fedora 3 ISO i386, and let's grab the DVD right here. That should only take a short bit. So it seems like the pattern is that the x86_64 Fedora ISOs don't seem to play nice with installation. Always get some sort of error no matter when we use graphical or text-based installation. Not sure why that happens, but Hyper-V has, I'm sure there's gonna come a point in which x86_64 works just fine for generation 1 Hyper-V VMs. But now the FC Fedora Core 3 ISO is just about done downloading here in about 10 seconds. We'll go ahead and move that over to its appropriate folder, and we'll be able to go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete FC3. And like I said, we're gonna go ahead and just drag and drop this ISO in. And we'll head back to Hyper-V. Head back to Hyper-V, we'll go to File, Settings. Let's go to our DVD drive and just simply switch to i386 architecture. Click OK and reboot. We'll do graphical mode. See if graphical mode works for us. And we have, wait for it, skip, probing for video card, monitor type. Looks like we're getting farther, so i386 is the way to go. Generic 3-button mouse. We got a little ugliness on the screen here. Hopefully that goes away fairly soon. Look, it doesn't look like pushing the enter key is going to do anything. I'm just going to assume it's stuck here because I don't have that much time. Let's go ahead and reboot the system again. This time Linux text. Text mode. We push enter. Let's see where this takes us. Skip the media test. Welcome to Fedora Core. So far, so good. English, US. We'll go for custom, auto partition, erase the drive. We're going to be selecting HDA. Yes, we want to do this. So we have our partitioning table here using ext3. So your default file system for Fedora 3 back in the day, back in 2004, was ext3. So ext2 wasn't even in the picture at this point as like your go-to ext file system. We're gonna select OK, use grub bootloader, OK. We're gonna skip, go to OK, no grub password, hit OK. So mostly a pretty similar interface to Fedora Core 2. And just for time's sake, we're gonna skip the firewall. We'll just do no firewall. And we get a warning for no firewall. And that's the thing these days on a operating system, you don't even get an error message like that because you don't even really get an option on the GUI to disable said firewall. But it's good that a disclaimer is right here for us all to see. SE Linux. Okay, now we're talking. Disable warn active. This is new. Let's go with active and just see what happens. We might run into some issues along the way. We may have to manually auto relabel. Who knows? And English USA time zone. We're gonna head up to America Chicago as the go-to central time zone. Password. Can we get through here without a password entirely? Nope, it's gotta be at least 6 characters long. That's fine. We're gonna use password as the password. And there is our package group selection. I'm gonna select everything. 6.756 megabytes, about 6 3/4 of a gigabyte. That's about the same size for the everything selection for Fedora 2 on the previous video. Let's go ahead and select OK. Installation will begin and the file system is formatting. Preparing RPM transaction. This seems to be pretty smooth. We took our lessons from last time. Well, not entirely. I didn't use i386, I used x86-64. And now the installation is starting. Hopefully we can boot up to the OS perfectly fine and not have to start a whole process over because of some reason. So let's just wait here and see what happens next. And we've got about 4 to 5 minutes to go, depending on where the time estimator takes us. So I'm gonna step out for a coffee and I'll be right back. And I just want to say as some commentary here about, 4 minutes to installation. It feels like this ISO is taking a long time to install, considering it's only just under 7 gigabytes. I mean, I'm not sure exactly why it's going that slow. It seems like it would be faster, but maybe speeds of ISOs back then weren't that fast. I don't know. If y'all have an idea, be sure to comment down below. 2 seconds left in the installation. So it looks like about 6 minutes and 36 seconds is all it took to install Fedora 3 Core, performing post-install configuration. It looks like this might be a speedy install. Congratulations, your Fedora Core installation is complete. Remove any media. We're gonna go and do that right now. Media, DVD drive. We're gonna go ahead and go to our settings and remove that. And there is indeed no ISO in our drive. We're gonna go ahead and remove that and hit reboot. Press any key to enter the menu. Fedora Core, and looky there, I'm compressing the Linux kernel. I think we're in, y'all. They called it Red Hat Nash version 4.1.18. Oh, that's a long time ago. All right, I'm stuck looking at the same screen now, going for about half a minute. I'm getting slightly concerned, but hopefully knocking on my wood table that we move on to the GUI, because that's what I'm looking for. That's what you're looking for, is the GUI. This is taking a while to load. I'm not sure what is taking so long, but it says it's booting, so we're gonna continue waiting. It's 12:25 p.m. local time. I'm gonna check back in about 5 minutes. It better be loaded. Okay, so I noticed there's something weird going on. I go to my CPU here on Task Manager. I'm showing very high CPU usage, 65%, which seems to be not necessary for our VM process here. As you can see here, 66.8 or so on the CPU usage for a very old Hyper-V VM. When I go into my settings, you'll notice that I did not set my virtual processors down. We've got 12 virtual processors in use. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut down this VM for a little bit. And we're gonna go ahead and adjust those settings a bit because we should not have that much CPU usage happening in the background. So I'm gonna set it to 1 virtual processor. For memory, I'm actually gonna reduce this down to 1024 megabytes and actually disable dynamic memory entirely. Apply those settings. And everything else shouldn't even have to touch. We're gonna go back to the VM and see if we can make any further progress. All right, we are started back up and Fedora core, S&P. Let's see what happens here. Now I forget, we may have to select the second option now that I remember, because it's been a while since I recorded a part 2 of the series. So that's probably what I'll have to do. Because right here, it should not be stuck on init version 2.85 booting. I should be able to just go straight to the GUI from here. Actually, wait, setting default font. We actually have a font set. And look at there, everything is going on its own. So it seems like decreasing the processors down to 1 seemingly fixed the issue. I don't know. I can't confirm that for sure. And when we're talking about legacy systems like Fedora Core 3, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, right? I mean, I could work on Fedora 40, probably Fedora 60 if it was available with the system resources it's going to require 20, 30 years from now. So I think I will just continue on because I'm expecting to see a GUI any second, any second. I have hope. I have lots of hope. I need some hope. Almost. I think we're getting somewhere. I think that's the loading circle, like right there at the bottom where you see like a little circular motion with the lines. I think that's actually a spinning circle in the background. It's just, for some reason, the graphics aren't showing up exactly. Similar to what happened to Fedora 2 in the last video. I think that's what's happening. And wait for it. We're almost there, y'all. I think we're almost there. I still see a spinning circle in the blue now. The screen is changing on its own every few seconds, so that's good. That's a great sign. It's still spinning about half a minute later. I mean, the screen's changing on its own, so I'm having some hope here, but it seems like the pattern's repeating itself. So what if I push the enter key once? Maybe it'll trick it to go forward. I don't know. I'm pushing enter a couple of times. Nothing's happening. Okay, now my hopes have kind of dwindled a bit. It looks like there's text appearing in the background. Can't make out what it says. There's text popping up on its own. I'm expecting to see a GUI just like in the Fedora 2 video that allows us to click through a wizard that eventually lands us on the desktop. I don't want to be that person who just chickens out early and just resets the VM in hopes for a better result. But at this point, my patience does run thin. Wait! We got something! Oh, it was mounting local file system. It was actually doing all of that work right there in the background. Checking root file system, remounting, in read-write mode, setting LVM, checking the file system, enabling swap space. Okay, I think we're in it still. I think we are still in it. Let's keep waiting. What if I push the enter key again? Let's see what happens. Nothing, so I take it it's working. Let's just keep waiting. The key here is just not to chicken out too early. I can hear the fans on my computer whirring a little bit louder. Our CPU usage is definitely not 65% or whatever it was earlier, since we set the vCPU from 12 to 1. I think I legit may step away from the computer for a bit because I am getting a little impatient. So I'm gonna sit back here whenever the GUI pops up and we're able to navigate through to the Fedora Core 3 desktop. All right, we see enabling swap spaces back to okay. It's still trying to go. Hopefully this is not looping back to that status screen every 5 minutes because that would be annoying. Like, what are we waiting for at this point? I think I might want to push I to enter that interactive screen at this point because this text-based situation just ain't doing it for me. It's like a guessing game if this is actually going to work or not. I mean, at one point, do I reset if I feel like I'm wasting time, right? All right, so I've noticed here where we have like a white background here. This kind of looks like the background color you'd see on the GUI on Fedora 3 Core, but I'm not convinced for sure. It might be, but I move my mouse up and down and you see the little text artifacting in the middle of the screen. I'm not sure how to proceed here. I'm just pushing the enter key randomly and nothing really of note's happening. I think I am going to go ahead and reboot though and see what happens next because that should not be happening. But I did say earlier that I was going to select the second option, the Fedora Core Up. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but we're going to go give it a try because time is of the essence right now. And we don't have a lot of time to waste today. We got an error message saying your system appears to shut down uncleanly. I know I did a forceful reset. This does seem to be taking way longer than I intended. I'm actually going to do a quick Google search and see what I have to do to install Fedora Core 3 on Hyper-V. I wonder if there's some other setting I'm missing. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. We're kind of just stuck here. So let's do one more reset. Let's do this first option like we did before. and see if we're able to progress any further, because I'm just at about the point where I want to go ahead and give up here. Initializing hardware. This time we're going to go ahead and do a force file system integrity check. Let's see if that helps with anything. Yeah, at this point we got the same little white background. I'm actually not sure how I want to proceed here, because I feel like I've changed just about every setting that makes sense to change outside of changing this to a Generation 2 VM, but I don't think I'd want to do that because Fedora 2 installed just fine on, I'm pretty sure it was Generation 1. I actually had 12 processors. I'm actually checking the settings right now. Anyway, it had 1024 megabytes of RAM, 12 virtual processors. I'm fairly sure it was running on Generation 1 as well. And Fedora 1, it was running on 12 virtual processors, gig of memory. Yeah, this is odd behavior for sure. And unfortunately, after an hour or so of digging around on the internet, trying to figure out why I could not get past this point, I'm declaring Fedora 3 as a fail when deploying on Hyper-V. So I was never able to get to the desktop using the x86-64 architecture or the i3-86 architecture. So I guess I'm just gonna have to move on to Fedora 4. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and let me know what you enjoyed about this video, didn't enjoy about it, and we'll see you on the next one.